Hello, my name is Bradley, and I'm your host of The Internal Game. So I got a little cool The Internal Game shirt. If you can see it, right? I got more of them. This was the first one that was made. Some more right here. My wife, I told you guys, she quit her job as a pharmacist, and so she's in like full creative mode right now. So she just like I got a bunch of white tees, the new ones, and she just started hooking them up, even put them on my older shirts. So good stuff, right? I love it. It's actually really cool. But yeah, today I want to talk about opportunity and pretty much opportunity and challenges. Right? So like when challenges come, of course, they came from our state of being. Seeing the person with somebody else, job letting us go, person leaving, being abandoned, all this stuff. Right? It came from our state of being for sure. But like in a challenge, an unconscious person becomes more unconscious, right? And a conscious person becomes more conscious. Like it you can go either way, right? So ideally, we want to be more conscious people, right? More aware of like who and what we are, more aware of how we handle things, more of response instead of reaction, kind of stuff like that, right? And because number one, we know that what we react to means that we is an indicator. What we react to is an indicator of what we identify with, right? So we want to be able to make different decisions, have different responses, become more conscious while facing a challenge or facing the opposite of what we're trying to do, right? Now, I know people have asked me about Purge. I think I've talked about it a long time ago. But like I want to give because it's just energy manifesting. Everything's just energy manifesting, right? So I want to give a good like image, put an image to it, to what this actually is. I was talking about this in the membership live last week, and so let's just say the universe is separate from you, right? Let's just say this for story's sake, and example's sake, I guess. And so, like, how we say sometimes, like, oh, I'm gonna give it up to the universe as if it's separate, or I'm gonna give it up to or put it out in the universe, and hopefully the universe gives this to me kind of as if it's separate, right? But let's just look at it like this for a second, as if the universe is over here, but it's still giving us everything that we give ourselves, right? So it's separate, but still giving us what we say is true. That's it, right? Anyway, so if we have a lot of momentum, a lot of worry, fear, doubt that we've been putting on like a person, certain circumstances with a person, maybe money, maybe job, all this stuff, right? And then we're just all this momentum, attention, awareness, and all this energy is just getting queued up in this universe. Like that's your universe, like your little universal bank for you, pretty much, right? And so all this energy in there, and then you're like, actually, I'm going to be stable now and confident and knowing, and good things happen to me, and I am perfect, and I am this, and you start getting out of this fear, and you start getting stable. You start actually doing things like, oh, that's just a thought. Oh, I don't have to identify with that thought. I don't have to. This is just a thought. And then you get the emotions. You're like, oh, okay, well, those are just, it's coming, it's going. It is what it is. Okay, it's coming, it's going, and you don't identify with the emotion, and you start to become more stable, right? So now, before, and you might see some things, but before that can really take shape, before you can actually solidify this, you have all this energy that you have, like from all this momentum of fear and worry and judgment and resentment, all this stuff in your little universal personal bank up here. And the universe is like, oh, before we can actually give this person more of what they are now, we have to get rid of this. Because this has to get rid of it. And so like this energy manifests in like in my scenario was like my wife saying some really, really, really off the wall stuff when we were split up. And I mean really off the wall, where I was like, what the is this? Or yeah, just like stuff that's completely opposite of what it is that you're saying that you are now. Like you're in the relationship. I'm in the relationship now. And then like, you get the opposite. The person's like, dude, I'm never talking to you again. You're the last person I want to talk to. Don't ever reach out to me again. All this stuff. And you're like, what the? I was doing good. It's just the energy from the old states having to manifest to get out of the way, so like this separate universe can actually give you what you are now, right? So the key here now is to become more conscious of this and become more conscious in the moment and realize, okay, I can make a different decision here. I do not have to react. Okay. So even though the universe isn't separate, I just wanted to give a good image of this, right? Like it's like this is what's happening. It doesn't always happen. These little purges, whatever, don't always happen, but it does. I usually do see it with people have a lot of momentum, a lot of tension and worry about a certain circumstance, and then they start being this way. And let's just say the separate universe is like, oh, they're being this way now, but we got to get rid of this really, really fast. All this fear stuff, and we got to let it manifest, and then we can clear that out and start giving this person what they are now. Okay. So the key is to not react while this is happening, because if you did react, that's the indicator that you still identify with this state of being and this type of this being that state of being, and then you keep it at play, and you're gonna have to keep doing that and doing that until you stop reacting, right? Well, I'm reading a book right now called "Letting Go" by Dr. David Hawkins. He studied consciousness and back in the day. He did some really good work, and I love the book that I'm reading right now. And in the book, though, he talks about how, like, a law of consciousness, like, you only see what applies to you, and you don't see what doesn't apply to you. And I agree with this, right? Like, because whatever you believe to be true, you see. Whatever you take seriously, you see. Like, if you don't, you don't see it, right? That's kind of why I start you guys off with just a thought. Because, like, when you stop entertaining these thoughts coming from these beliefs, then you no longer believe them. You're not taking them seriously, so they have to go, right? So if you are facing a challenge, or maybe one day you will, who knows? It doesn't really necessarily matter because it's not scary, right? In this book, he said, about the what doesn't apply to you, right? So he said like in the Great Depression that a lot of people lost money, a lot of people lived in poverty, and he's like, and there's some people that didn't at all, and there was also some people that got really, really rich during that. And then he talked about how in like a room full of people, there was like an experiment or something. He's like, well, there was 14 people, 8 people got sick, 6 people did not. And he was like, it's not the fact that 8 people got sick, it's the fact that 6 people did not. How? And the whole idea was that, like, whether they got rich in the Great Depression or didn't lose their money, or whether they didn't get sick in this room when other people were getting sick, over half people got sick, it was because they were saying, this doesn't apply to me. Now, I never get sick. Ever. Like, it's been I don't know what happened when I was a kid, but I just always had this little belief that I don't get sick, I guess. Like, I just don't. Even when a lot of stuff was going on a few years back, I did not. Everyone in the house did. I did not. Because I didn't think about it, not 1 second. I didn't watch any videos and get scared. I didn't do anything like that. I was just like, oh, I'll be fine. And I knew that. And I was. So, it's the same thing. It didn't apply to me. Right? So now we're going to take this type of mindset with being more conscious people and realizing, hey, listen, sometimes I've been reacting at work. Sometimes I've been reacting at person because I'm being resentful and things like that, right? But now I'm going to solidify this more stable state, because there does come a time, especially when these things are happening, the energy manifesting from the old states, your own personal universal bank of energy just giving you the old unwanted stuff, and it manifests and like weird things that people are saying to you, people are doing, like stuff that people would never usually do. You're like, what are they doing, right? And now the game plan is to not react. And I'm going to say something really logical and really kind of, I guess, matter of factly, I guess. I don't really know. But like, why would you react? Like, if it doesn't apply to you, why would you react? If you are saying, like, okay, I'm stable now, I'm whole, love, complete, I know this within, I feel this within, I've gotten really good at realizing I don't have to buy into all my thoughts, because that's just a thought, like, I know this, I've shown myself stability, boom, face with the opposite. You can then do the whole, that doesn't apply to me. Why would you not? Because why would you take it seriously if it doesn't apply to you? Again, it's really easy, like I've talked about before, really easy to be safe, secure, and solid, and whole and complete, right? In a room by yourself. But when we're faced with the opposite, we do have to finally prove that we are who we say that we are. We do have to solidify this new state of being, or we're going to keep having to do it again and again and again, because it's just trying to get out of the way. It's not personal. It's not some the world is evil going against you, or anything, or your person evil, anything like that, or anything like that. It's just energy manifesting that you have queued up, a lot of momentum. It's just trying to manifest and get out of the way, so you can actually start seeing more of what you are now, right? So easy to do in a room, but like there does come that time that we have to face the mirror of everything and not react. Why would we? It doesn't apply to us, right? Same thing with thoughts. Like they do, whatever. The only ones that apply to you are the ones that you say that do, the ones that you entertain. That's it, right? Yeah. So we want to look at this as like an opportunity to become more conscious. And I'm not big on the whole purge thing, but like I do know the energy has to manifest, especially after lots of focus, lots of attention, lots of awareness, kind of stuff like that. And it does, right? But it's nothing to be fearful of. Even someone like, you hear Neville talk about the maintaining the desire, maintaining the new state, like when the old man's trying to pull you back, kind of with the circumstances or whatever. Or even hear like the book of Job, right? Like in the Bible, where the devil's like, "Oh, I can turn Job against you," and God's like, "No, you can't." And then the devil starts taking stuff from him. Job stayed straight. Job kept his eye on where he was at, and then of course, what did he get? The way more than what was taken from him, right? But cool little parable, but same thing. And then you have like someone who teaches presence, like Eckhart Tolle, who says that like, hey, when you start to become more present, when you're used to being negative and being so identified with mind and have all this momentum, pretty much, when you start to become present, he was like, changes on the outside look like they're negative. Look like they're negative. I love his wording right there. Look like they're negative. He's like, but if you just pretty much hold tight, you will see that it's just making room for something more positive to enter your life. Now, there is no, like the circumstance itself that you're faced with that you consider as the opposite is 100% meaningless. Now, the meaning that you, just like a thought, and the meaning that you give it determines what happens after that. Even before that, the meaning that you give it as positive or negative determines how that plays out for you, right? So like if you're able to see this circumstances that's opposite, right? Because you're saying, no, I'm this person now, and then boom, the opposite pops up, and you say, okay, well, listen, it's not really positive or negative. It's just the energy from the person this being, or the state of being that I used to reside in, and it's just playing out. I see it, but that doesn't apply to me. Okay. And then you go about your day. Like, that's where you want to be. You don't want to become unconscious when faced with a challenge. You don't want to see it like, no, I was doing so great, and this person did that. I can't believe they did that. Like, those motherfuckers, and did it, like all this stuff, just resentment, anger, all this stuff just going towards this person or whatever situation, because now you're scared again, and you think that you get what I'm saying. We don't want to do that. We want to be in control of our state of consciousness by not allowing what we don't want to apply to us. So, seems simple, and it's a whole lot more simple when you actually do practice the whole just a thought. Bring yourself into the moment. Just a thought. Oh, so-and-so's talking. Oh, that's just a thought. You're going to stabilize. And then, because you start to stabilize more and you're claiming your new self and all the stuff that you want now, if that pops up, the opposite pops up from all the energy bank, or the energy in your little universal bank, and it starts to manifest, what are you going to do? Are you going to become more unconscious? Or are you going to become conscious and say, wow, this is an opportunity to solidify my state? This is an opportunity to let go of the old man, of the old state, and continue being confident, solid, knowing, trusting within, because I know that that's about to head out the second that I do not take it seriously. And then remind yourself, why would you take something seriously that does not apply to you? Because if you're saying you're this new person and you're being this new person, why would you? It doesn't apply to you. That's all I got. And I will see you guys soon.